Hi guys, this is my Dismantling Stereotypes assignment. Let's get into it. So, lots of action scenes in this movie, but the general plot beats are that this military industrial complex higher up Colonel William Stryker, um, he has a mutant son who he wanted to be cured. Professor X said, no, being a mutant is not something to be cured. And then William Stryker lobotomizes his son in order to do that paternalistic confinement thing. Then he uses his son to power a machine that will genocide all mutants. Then Magneto comes along around the climax and flips the root around, does an Uno reverse, and tries to kill all non-mutants, but then the X-Men save the day, and the government is no longer trying to kill them. Even though Professor X is in a wheelchair, I feel like his exceptionality here exists to draw parallels to the exceptionalities of all mutants, which in turn is a metaphor for exceptionalities in general. You can read it. There's definitely an LGBTQ reading in this movie. You can also read it as a kind of twice exceptional thing. One exceptionality might mask another the same way. You might have ADHD and be gifted talented. You might have psychic powers and also be in a wheelchair. And then lobotomies were a very real thing, to do exactly what happened in the movie. So that's also I don't know, look up the Kennedys. Here's a fun little slide that I did that connected a Foucault quote to what was going on in the Foucault lens. Haze and Black. I really liked Haze and Black, so pause it here if you want to read it. This is a really good scene. I think it's pretty well known. It can apply to people with invisible disabilities. It can apply to visibly queer people and that kind of thing. I think especially and being neurodivergent, like, oh, why not mask all the time? Because we shouldn't have to. Or if you're chronically ill, oh, why not just like push through and live through hell like 60 hours a week in a normal job, because we shouldn't have to. One thing I really liked about the movie is that it is extremely explicit about the fact that minoritized groups experience a lethal threat from the government. After all, one of the ways to escape paternalistic confinement, as we learned in our readings, is death. This is something I definitely experienced moving back to the US. It just makes me really realize why and how America is the original home of eugenics. I think as far as the audience goes, something useful to viewers, especially kids, especially people who are still learning their identities, is that they will identify with whatever kind of discrimination they've experienced, and see that in the X-Men. And if you want to learn more, watch my video on roleplay, which is also on my YouTube channel. Another thing I really liked is that it basically sides entirely with the minoritized other. Another thing I really liked, which is something that you can't get out of most portrayals of disability, especially things like autism and that kind of thing in the media, is that every mutant has unique powers in a way that isn't like super hierarchical. Everyone has an ability that's useful at some point, and you can't really compare them. They're kind of apples and oranges most of the time. So that's, it just shows how diverse people with, in this case, disabilities are. So something I learned about myself, I guess, doing this, was that I feel like representation in the media is so bad, and our readings basically confirmed all that. That I wanted to go with a text that escapes the discourse of pity by basically being very, very abstract. Um, Magneto is like a socially embittered villain, as disabled people might be shown in, as Longmore discusses. Um, but I think a very important difference is that his grievances are presented as very real, whereas mutant discrimination is presented as like hateful, ignorant, or both. So a lot of media, especially like Marvel stuff, if someone has a point, they'll just end up being a terrorist or something like that. It's a little bit similar here, but it's not totally both sidesing the situation. So that I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.